welcome to TVC Breakfast. Now, there has been an ongoing debate by the People's Democratic Party and the opposition, the All Progressives Congress, on the use of the military during elections. Well, the raging debate is further fueled by a leaked audio clip which suggested that the military was involved in the rigging of the governorship election in Ekiti State, in which the APC's candidate, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi, lost to Mr. Ayodele Fayose of the PDP. With less than 40 days now to the general elections, we need to ask, do we really need the military? This is our topic on Talktime. With us in the studio are the Publicity Secretary of the Lagos chapters of the PDP and APC. Mr. Joe Igbokwe is on my left for the APC, and Barrister Gani Taufik for the PDP on my right. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Nigerians.
It's actually Taufik Gani.
Gani, okay, Barrister. Well, an audio clip was recently released by an online news medium where one Issa Sagir, a captain in the Nigerian army, recorded the voice of the former Minister of State for Defense, Senator Musiliu Obanikoru, the former Minister of Police Affairs, Caleb Olubolade, the current Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, in a meeting with one Brigadier General Aliyu Momo, where the Brigadier General was given directives on how to help the PDP win the June the 21st governorship election in Ekiti State. The dramatis personae in the leaked audio have, however, denied that such a meeting was ever held. Well, let's take excerpts of the audio, and we should come back for more on Talk Time.
Now we have nothing less than 500 vehicles with specific instructions.
But I think are your men carrying out those instructions?
Yeah, because it's one thing for them to give them instructions, it's another thing for them to carry out the instructions.
One of these,
let me tell you why I'm saying your men are not carrying out the instructions. We came in just now and we saw so many checkpoints. None of them stopped us.
We have to be stopping and asking them why they are not stopping us. And while we are doing that, we have military
checkpoints.
We have military. We have military men in our convoy, and we have police in our convoy. But yet, we expected them because people can impersonate. We expected them to stop and demand to know
who is inside. Even arrest now.
God bless you.
One of several arrests. This is free. I don't want to be in this meeting. I don't want to go.
Take it easy. You know why is angry?
Why is angry? He said why you have been dodgy. That you've been trying to meet you, that you have always been excuses.
Sorry, sir.
No. I understand this excellency problem. It's not because we are here. In fact, if I start crying now, this is the. Do I know you? We met yesterday. The only person that can tell you the truth is Chief. You took, in fact, I handed over 5 hours was between the two. I'm still in the two. You understand? The problem we are having is that we should control this. When you are there, how many people do you take from this team? They arrested. Including the chairman. The governor called me and said...
But they said that on the issue of the chairman. Because they just called me from...
you know what I want to do now? Wait. You know what I want to do now?
No, sir, the issue of the chairman.
The issue of the chairman of our local government. I know. They call us now that you have done very well when the man was arrested in Turkey. And that you brought him, you arrested him, that he was even thoroughly beaten. And after some time, they said the fan gone.
Is the police
orderly? But they have withdrawn the police orderly of all these local government.
What you as at this afternoon, we still have the governor, like him now, is going to be something. There's, like yesterday, he just called me. Chief Uba never believed I've not compromised. Even you, these are his female. I know his problem, the pressure is high.
Absolutely.
So that's not.
And failure is not an option.
It's not an option.
I don't want to keep you here more than necessary, because we are not alone in this team, and we have to be seen to be fair, even if we have a direction that we want to achieve. Your Excellency, we are here because of you, and it is you that I want to please. Momo is here before you. Let us give him an assignment.
Let me say for you assignment, sir. Okay. This Brigadier General, I was governor of this state 12 years ago. You will probably be a captain or a major. But give God all the glory. When you talk to this man, he will argue from morning till night. What we want to eat does not allow us to know our rights. Number two, my younger brother retired in the army as Brigadier General. When you explain to this man, it's argument. Today, we met and we agreed on how to work, myself, Omishori, and all the heads. We agreed on the strategy to use and the men that will join us. And all you expect me to do, I have done.
Well, that's excerpts of the audio tape purportedly perpetrating the rigging in Ekiti State's gubernatorial election in 2014. Now, first off, Barrister, what is your immediate reaction about this audio tape?
I will, for the sake of discussing this issue, I will want to admit that this is something we can talk about. Ordinarily, I would have gone into, just discountenancing it, because this is technology, anything can happen. But just for us to make some issues out, right, let me agree to discuss this occurrence. Now, I am very happy that for the first time I am probably hearing all that went in that excerpt. I have tried to download it on internet. I have not been able to, get it really clearly as this. Now, unless we want to be very unfair, just watch, pick the words used. Even Senator Musli Obanikoro at a point in time said, let us be fair, even if you have any direction.
Let us be seen to be fair.
Let us be seen to be fair.
Sin.
What else would, it's even fair. It's even better to say that let us be seen to be fair than let us be fair. Because you don't only be fair, you have to be seen to be fair, which means that the person assessing you is convinced that you are fair. It is, if you are just fair, it is your own conviction.
So what do you
So
think?
the top person says you are fair, that means that you are seen to be fair. The man said it. Number two, Governor Yofayoshe himself said it. He said each time they try to explain themselves, the man will be arguing. Now, what I want to bring out from that is that it's not like you cannot discuss with a brigadier or a police officer. It might even be that you want to discuss things that will be useful for his own service. What has happened there, I put a bet. It is not like it also did not happen between the APC and the military intelligence. But because, you see, these people at times, they will want to be, I'm very sorry if I must add that word, criminally proactive. They knew that sometime, if the thing does not work well, now they can use it to blackmail. And so they always plan ahead. That was deliberately recorded. So that if eventually it did not turn out well, they will now release just like they have released.
All right.
But let me tell you in all honesty, this recording cannot indict anybody because all the words are clear.
Well, not all the words. That's just an excerpt of the audio tape.
But maybe you should have, if it is deliberate that you want us to discuss it, then you should have even played all. Maybe that is even where we will even get more facts to show that what they went to do was just a mere visit. These people were ministers. These people were ministers representing the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they had every responsibility to make sure that they, guide as much as possible so that we can have credible election.
I'll come to you, but as the publicity secretary of the PDP, yes, I expected that you would have listened to the full audio of the tape. So that we'll
have the copy now.
Further. Okay, I'll come back to you now. What is your immediate reaction to this audio tape?
Bizarre, potentially dangerous for our renascent democracy. And it pains me so much because the characters that are doing this were never involved in the struggle for democracy. I was. And I recorded that in my book, Heroes of Democracy. And I noted in that book, and I recorded in that book that over 5,000 people died, including prominent Nigerians, including the winner of that election. including the wife. So you can look at these characters. None of them were there. None of them saw all the troubles that we went through. Now see the damage they have done to this democratic process. The world is watching. People can say that this is just technology. Ladies, those the characters that were involved, they have confessed that they were there. Even though they will tell you that what we said has nothing to do with what is going on. But if you listen to the full tape, and there is nothing to convince anybody that they were not part of the mess that we saw in Ekiti State. It's bizarre that a brigadier general who be involved in this, he named them. He said, if you had gone for that, you see where he said, look, I have an assignment from the presidency to deliver.
No.
That was the time. No, you didn't listen. Let me come back.
Please, but that is where you should play now.
Let me
blackmail.
Let me
the
finish.
area you want to use to convict or indict.
Let me finish.
I mean, you see, let me tell you. Ordinarily speaking.
When he was talking,
No,
I don't want him to talk.
Wait, let him make
something that was not paid to us. Please, ordinarily speaking, we must restrict ourselves to what is played here, because this is what we want to analyze. This is one reason why when you want to come to this place, people will advise you that you should not come. But I tell them I will always come. Because if I don't come, you will have two people here who will be pro-APC and continue to implicate and indict the
Barrister,
PDP.
but the audio has been out there for so long.
Oh
Why
God, this is not even ethical.
All right.
What you want us to discuss is what you should play, and we don't discuss outside what you have played.
All right. Please let me ask him a question if I be coming back to you. Now, from what you said earlier on, you said that it's just that the meeting was recorded. That of the PDP, this meeting was recorded. That's why the APC is coming out.
No, that's my own thought.
That's what I'm saying. Your thought.
Telling you a probability.
Exactly, probability. Now,
Yes.
I want to expatiate on what you said, so
Yes.
I'll give you the chance to explain yourself further on it. That is because this is recorded that the APC is coming out. That it's probably happened as well in the APC camp.
Very well.
All right, now
very well. It must have happened. It must have happened. They must have also consulted.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Okay, now. The PDP is the ruling party in Nigeria,
yes.
And the commander-in-chief of the armed forces is a member of the PDP, the president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. Now, how can another party, not just the APC, now how can another political party have power over the military to use, to favor itself in any election?
That is indeed another, commendation for the polity that we have now. Now, the polity is such that the president does not even see himself as a leader of PDP, but as president of Nigeria. And that is probably why you even find that most of the things that even me as a member of PDP would think that ordinarily should be controlled by the federal government are not being controlled by the federal government, because this man is very liberal, is a true Democrat. If you want to manipulate INEC, go ahead. If you want to there were days they were seriously manipulating the judiciary. But then let me not also forget, you see, it is always quick for APC people, I always say it. They want to be populist, they want to play to the gallery, they want to hijack anything that seems to be, good. I'm surprised and I'm really embarrassed that we can say here that somebody like Muslim Obanikoro did not participate in 1993 when he himself was a chairman of council. You understand? Under the so I don't know why people would just want to blackmail because they want to get cheap popularity. These were people who participated in that. Me, as I sit here, and people who are watching us, who know, they will tell you, as a student union leader.
All right.
You understand? I participated as a matter of fact. Let me tell you one joke. As at the time that may so rest in peace, General Sani Abacha was announced dead, was the time that I held a soldier man who wore uniform on our campus. I took him to the chief security officer, and as at the time that he apologized for wearing that uniform, I swear before God and man, within 2-3 minutes it was announced that President, former head of state, Sani Abacha died. So it's not about somebody writing books. We were in the action.
Point. Thank you very much. Now, over to you, Mr. Igbokwe. Now,
if you go further
from
that tape, you will see where. Don't forget that a day to the election, our leaders were coming to Ekiti State and they were stopping Akure. You know about this?
They were.
You know about this? The other side, they were not stopped. You know about it. If you go further inside that tape, you will see where Somebody told them that they have cordoned off the 4 ways leading to the governor's house. And they know what is happening in governor's house, what the governor was doing at that particular point in time. At that point, I almost shed tears. I said, so this man was just floating. The governor is just floating, doesn't know what is going on. He said, we have cordoned the 4 ways leading to the governor's lodge, and nobody's going to, we know what is going on. So you could see that the man, they said is the commander, the #1 security officer, is not the #1 security officer. They have made him helpless and hopeless. At the time, they said, look, have you arrested all the leaders of APC? I mean, the march chairman of the campaign organization. You know, their names were mentioned. So it's not, this thing has been played to the public, even in Abuja. It's all over the world. So, and it has been analyzed, you know, applying the best technology in the world. And even the characters are not denying it. So what are we talking about? This is dangerous, potentially dangerous for our hard-earned democracy.
All right, now moving forward, military men were used in the governorship election in Ekiti State, which the APC lost to the PDP, and then they were also used in Osun State as well, which the APC won. Now, what is your position on the military being used for the forthcoming elections on March the 28th and April the 11th?
They were also used in Edo, which APC won. They were also used in Ondo, which PDP lost. So, on the average, you see, I mean, by calculation, you see that it cannot even stand the test of time to blackmail PDP that the military is used to support.
So do you support
the party? Now, let me tell you that the military is used. We must put in proper context. Used for what? Is it deliberately to rig? Now, ordinarily speaking, the military is not supposed to be involved in the electioneering process, but we have a circumstance now that demands that. We have a serious problem that we cannot be seen to be different from all other countries, even more developed countries in the world, where such issue of insurgency or the possibility of serious fracas happening on elections day, then the country will deploy their own military. We have seen it happen in areas that they know that it is dangerous to conduct elections without maximum security. All over the world it's happened. Now, so why should Nigeria be different? I think what we should begin to look at is, at what point would a particular group of persons begin to raise objection to our national interest? Is it when they have not been able to compromise that system? Is it when they think that, yes, they cannot manipulate that operations? Because I'm surprised that you want us to conduct elections where somebody have threatened, people have threatened that this will happen, serious threat of violence, and you think that you will only repose confidence in the ordinary police. You understand? When even in Lagos State, I want to tell you, even in Lagos State, the local government elections, of course you know about the OP Mesa, the Lagos State military wing. You understand? The OP Mesa was deployed. They were going all around. They won't even follow the council chairman, you understand, to my area, you understand, where I was voting. So the OP Mesa is made up of military, the Air Force, the Army. You understand? So me, I will be scared of the military or the police when I know that I'm criminally minded. I have a bad intention on the day of election. So if I know that, and then you see these gallant men, they are not even deployed so close to the polling unit. So if anybody is, accusing them of participating in election rigging, that person is not being fair to the military.
All right, I'll come back to you now. What is your position on the use of the military for the elections?
Section 215 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria places the issues of internal security, to the police. If you're talking of territorial, interventions, you talk of the army. And you saw this brigadier general in the army. You saw his involvement in this Ekiti State saga. And that's why people like us are worried. This matter played itself up in 2003. It was a person that first deployed soldiers. And the case got to appeal court. And they said, look, the army, deploying army in an election, it's not the constitutional duty of the of the army. It's not constitutional. It should be the matter that should be left to the police. Police can complement that. They can complement their actions with the customs, defense, national defense, and of course, NYSC, civil service. So that is it. That is it. Until we have a proof, army can be standby in case of any problem. Their own is to stand. If they come out, if you have danger coming, they can come in. But right now, like somebody said, we have a threat. Some of our 14 local governments are under the insurgents. They are controlled. This is where you should deploy them. We are afraid because of what we have seen. Because of the way it was deployed in 2003, the case went to the appeal court, and the appeal court said, look, it should not be. It should be a matter for the police. We saw it again in Ekiti in 2014, last year. You saw the role of this Brigadier General. And they said, look, if you do that, you may undermine this democracy. Because we don't control. The federal government, the president, who is a PDP man, is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And we know what they are capable of doing when the president issues an order. So, let them remain. The thing went to, after the Ekiti state election, the thing went to the appeal court again. The matter was before the appeal. And they said, look, the president has no power to deploy soldiers. It's only during wars that you can do that. So, and even the High Court, I think either in Lagos or Abuja, has also made it possible. So the courts must be obeyed. Let the army stand by. Let the army stand by. Because we have seen desperations. We have seen all kinds of signals. You don't wait for anybody to tell you. We are here to find the reason why this election was postponed by 6 weeks. We are here to find the reason. It's all part of it. They don't know how to handle what is coming. So they have been desperate, they have been confused, and they are doing all kinds of things. They're experimenting with all kinds of things. And part of what they want to do, you may not believe it. If we do not begin now to cry out, what happened in Ekiti will just be a child's play.
All right, now let me come back to you, Barrister. Yes. The courts, the Federal High Court in Sokoto ruled against the use of the military. Yes. Likewise, the Appeal Court in Abuja, and in the Nigerian Constitution, there is no constitutional provision for the use of the military in the country for elections. And then I want to read out something to you about the use of military in Ekiti State, which the court said. It said the justices of the Appeal Court said, whoever unleashed soldiers on Ekiti State disturbed the peace of the election on June 21st, 2014, and acted in flagrant breach of the Constitution. Now, do you still want military to be used for these elections, knowing that it will be a breach of the Nigerian Constitution?
Section 27 and Section 217 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria clearly outlines the areas where the military can be deployed and the man that has the power being the president. Now, in that section, it is also very explicit that the military can also be deployed to assist civil authorities. Now, supposing we take...
For logistics.
Let me land now.
All right, go ahead.
These military people, the way you talk about them here, you are blackmailing them. And unfortunately, they are not here. On the day of election,
no, we are protecting them. We are protecting the integrity of the army.
Is the military deployed to go and shoot somebody who is voting? We are saying that you must appreciate the circumstance that we are. And unfortunately for this same opposition, they are the same people who will come up to accuse the government of not providing enough security, where, for instance, election starts and then people are bombed or they are killed or ballot papers are carted away. What we are saying is that the same constitution that gives the power to the president to deploy the military has said it that the president can further deploy the military to support civil authorities. Now, on the day of election, it is ordinarily a civil process. Now, the police is to guide, you understand, to provide the security. But in a situation where even the police can also request for the military. You understand? Are you saying that the hand of the president is now tied? So with due regard to those justices, I think what they have done is really a misdirection. A misdirection. Because we cannot just, I cannot just phantom a situation where, God forbid, we want to conduct election, even though we have just one local government now, contrary to what Mr. Ibukwe said, that we have about 14 local government. To the glory of God, we have just about one local government now. Yes, where Sambisa is. Now, are you saying that we will now risk going to conduct elections even in the 3 states where we have insurgency, and you will not make your military be on the alert, not just to be on the alert in the barracks, but outside the barracks, but not near the polling unit? I don't know how. When we just think at times, we just think as if there's no other person that can think.
All right, can I come in? That basically the use of the military, according to the constitution, should be used in case of an insurrection, not just.
Very well, and that is the intent of the constitution, and it is there in section 217. It is clear there.
Eastern part, just 3 states in the northeastern part of Nigeria are under siege by Boko Haram. And let me read this to you. The appeal court as well went further to say that even the president of Nigeria has no powers to call on the Nigerian armed forces to unleash them on peaceful citizenry who are exercising their franchise. Now, people are afraid.
Yes. Now,
scare them away.
Let me tell you. I just said it now, and I mean, the justices are not infallible now. I mean, that is why there's always.
He's a lawyer. Look at what he says. He's a lawyer. Abusing judges. Do you know what will take you to get to the court of appeal?
Don't tell us when we get to a.
Do you know what it will take you to get to be a justice?
Before you make
the court of appeal.
Please hold your thought. We have a caller from Niger State, Mohammed. Mohammed, you have the floor. Could you please make your comment?
Hello.
Go ahead, Mohammed. We can hear you.
No, I'm not hearing you well. Hello.
Just go ahead and speak. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm now hearing you well clear. Mr. Ganiyu, you see, I'm only impressed with this program. But now, my comment is that if we use the military guarding a democratic system is unfair. Because if you look at it, military, they are too dictatorial. And they always work by the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian army. But then, the only alternative to use of a military is where we have a slight crisis or where we assume there must be a terrorism attack. But for me, in my own contribution, I'm saying that using military should be banned in our democratic processes. But then, we are not saying they shouldn't work during that electionary index. But then, involving them purely in the electionary index should be cancelled. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for your view on the topic. Now, what do you have to say about
this? Of course, I
agree
with him. He's just corroborating me. I mean, the military man is not seen at the polling unit. It's just the police or even the National Security Civil Defense Corps officers that are even seen. The military will maybe at best in areas that, like he said, that we assume that there's likely to be problem. They can escort the election materials. Right. Once they are deployed, they will withdraw back. But in some areas, I am supporting and advocating strongly that in some areas they don't just withdraw back to the police, the barracks. Let me tell you, even in Lagos, that we don't have insurgency as we speak. We have flashpoints already. Our candidates will be going about campaigning and they will be attacking him. Not only the governorship candidate, the one that is even worse off is our senatorial candidate, Segun Adewale in Alimosho. You understand? From Alimosho local government.
We have
counterpart is going about and attacking him.
I'm sorry, we have another caller. Jonathan, go ahead.
And therefore, Nigeria should be standby. I mean, the army should be standby so that they can save the life of Nigerians.
Yes.
The people saying that military should not be used should hold responsible if people are killed in places. Because even the police, the civilians are not longer seeing the police as they can prevent them from doing anything. So I suggest that military should be standby during this election. The military are not going to be carrying ballot box or conduct the election, but they will be standby so that people will be free of any attack by any person. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
And
Jonathan.
also,
Let me ask him. I'm coming quickly. Please, the National Human Rights Commission released a report recently saying that 58 people are already dead from election-related violence, and the elections are still weeks away. Now, don't you think maybe if the military is used, it could douse tensions and avert crisis?
No, I don't think so. But we have to think about what the law says. If you put military on alert, I have no problem with that. But if it's going to be used the way it was used in Ekiti, that's why we're saying it. That's why we're saying it. If you use an army and everybody sees that they are taking a neutral position, that their own is just to maintain, we have seen it before, their own is just to maintain law and order. But we are seeing the signs that some people are getting desperate, especially the ruling party. Seeing what we saw in Ekiti, it's enough for us to say, look, mind how you use these people. And that's what the courts are saying. It will be bizarre for anybody to come here to say, that you don't know, that these people may not understand what they are doing. I mean, the judges. Do you know what will take you to be a judge in their court of appeal? I mean, let's fix facts. Let these people, let the army be put on their alert. Stay there. Equip the police to do this job.
All right, we have.
You know what we're saying this is because we have left the police unequipped for a long time.
This call from Niger State. Mustafa, thanks for joining us on the breakfast. Make your point now. Mustafa, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
My suggestion is what? Hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
I want my suggestion is. Are you hearing me?
Mustafa, we can hear you. Make your points quickly, please.
Okay, even in those days that we are doing election, they are not using. Okay, even the former ones we have done, they are not using military. Why? It is when they see that there is crisis in somewhere that they used to call them. It is police that used to stay in the fully unit, and people did not even bother that the security is there. If police stand by them, they do whatever they like. Some will start abusing each other. Through that, you see that violence and other things will start coming up. So that is when they will call the army. By the time they see army, you see that the peace will arise there. That is what they normally do. Military doesn't stay in police station. But what they normally do, they go around when they see that there are crisis, they used to go there. And they don't recognize police as a security.
All right, thank you, Mustafa. Let's rephrase the point. I saw you nodding. Meaning that you agree with what some of these people are saying, that the military can be used in areas where there are crises, basically like the northeastern part of Nigeria during the elections, but not in the other states, basically.
Definitely, right? That's what we're saying. So for for anybody to come and just say blankets, you shouldn't use the military, it means that the person is attempting to play to the gallery, and I'm happy that, I mean, this morning, that is a disappointment. But you see, out of the 58 people who have been counted as dead, 8 of these people actually died at APC rallies, killed by APC supporters, and I will tell you, and I mean, these are things that can be verified. When they held their House of Assembly primary at Ibutimet, and they killed 4 young boys. As we talk to you, minimum of 4 people have been killed in Ajeromi Felodun between the fracas ongoing, because of the fracas ongoing between a man who wants to go 3rd time House of Rep and the man who eventually won. These are verifiable, and the police, they know all this.
We have to pick another caller.
So they should even go and investigate themselves more.
Ahmed, could you please go ahead with your view? Ahmed, are you still there? Well, it seems we've lost a connection. Oh, you're still there. Good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, I am not supporting the military to be involved in elections.
All right. Why?
My reason is that because in some remote areas, when the people see the military, they will not be able to come and vote. Even the political parties should have to go out for awareness, so that those militaries they will see around their villages are there to protect them, not to at least fight them. So in this case,
Thank you, Ahmed.
Let
Just say
me
something
just,
about
he was busy counting the number of people that I don't want to go into that. People can continue to deceive themselves. Let me tell you, he mentioned one Shehu Adewale, a senatorial candidate in Lagos West.
Yes.
This man mastered the temerity, the audacity to walk into the campaign office of Yayi and shot severally, destroyed so many things there. If his car was not a bulletproof car, the guy would have been killed. Do you know what he said? He went and addressed the press. He said, look, this man has been tearing, the supporters have been tearing my campaign posters, and that's why I went to warn him.
All right, now
We go, police, army.
All right, from this point, like, can I
These people
suggest?
are getting bold.
Can I suggest that we deviate from mentioning people that are not here to defend?
No.
themselves?
We have to mention names.
We are representing them.
We are
I am
representing
the
them. We have to
secretary of
mention names.
All right.
But you see,
names.
unfortunately, a man who has got that finance, the money to buy bulletproof jeep that cannot be less than 60-something million. I mean, cannot now have CCTV or cannot have 1 or 2 aides that will have camera phones to record.
The man denied.
It's just a pure lie.
He didn't read Chegu.
But
He didn't read it.
it's commonsensical now.
He didn't read it.
Even let me even say that. Let me even admit that Segun Adewale even went. So Segun Adewale will now go. Senatorial candidate will now go. And then people will see him. He will carry gun. I don't know how people think and talk.
All right, now let me
If you don't have evidence, don't raise any allegation.
Idris, please go ahead.
No
Please
video,
2 minutes,
no
2
audio.
minutes. Idris, please go ahead.
The man did not deny it.
Adewale.
Yes, I can make a point. Thank you. Idris, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you now. They're listening.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, my contribution is military should not be involved in the election process. Because if the PDP can use police to deny the Honorable Speaker of the Federal Assembly and the House of Representatives members access to the House, the same PDP government can use the military to buy voters to vote for the person that deserves to be voted. And if you can recall, even about just international observers saw military being favor to the PDP. So just on this, I can say categorically that military should not be involved in anything in our election. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your thoughts there. Now, Barrister, let me ask you, perhaps it's because many people are seeing the military as somehow being partisan right now, skewing its support towards the ruling party. That's why they are suspicious of the activities of the military, judging from on the heels of what happened in Imo State, where the military laid siege on the entrance of the government house.
Commanded by a minister of state.
Minister
of state and the Minister of Education took a whole
double of armed forces
to the state house.
And leader, that's in Imo State, and then the leader of the APCs, Bola Tinubu, complained that military men were as well as this area for close to a week there. Now, don't you think this is Nigerians are worried basically that the military is somehow taking sides? Is it because of that?
The national leader of APC, we have demanded that if the military does not come and investigate that, it means that they themselves, they have compromised. Because what actually happened was, I think there was a truck, military truck, with just the driver and maybe the escort moving, and then it broke down there. And they quickly started saying that military had come to hold the leader to ransom.
But the military has not come
wait now.
They have not made any statements.
See, this is, I just said something that is similar to what I am trying to say again. that even me as a member of PDP, at times I get worried. Because I don't know why we already blackmailed that everything federal is PDP, and then there will be one inadequacy, and then somebody will not make sure, compel the authority to come and explain themselves. You understand? So me, I'm also not even happy that all this, are happening. Now, the Owerri thing, Imo thing, you see, it's very unfortunate. People who are widows, they went to on peaceful protest to the office of the governor, and this governor, these pseudo-democrats, now organized talks, and they petted these people with stones, widows. You understand? We are not talking about that. We are talking of an imagination that a minister may have organized people to go to the governor's house. When this one was in the public, there is visual for it. You understand? And then let us even come back to this issue. For God's sake, the problem we have is that we have an opposition that is not progressive. We have an opposition that does not play the politics like sports, ordinary sports. They are desperate. So when they use the military, when they use the military and they win election, they will tell you that the best election has been conducted. Now, when the military is around and they lose election as a 16-0 that can never be appealed, 16-0, even in the world, the sitting governor, Fayemi, lost election, even in his ward.
All right, like we have another caller.
That is what you are contesting.
Hamzat, please go ahead. We have another caller now.
In his word. You are not seeing how
Hamzat, go ahead. Please let him make his comment before we come to you after the call. Hamzat, are you still there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
My name is Hamza. I'm calling you from Gombe.
All right, go ahead.
My suggestion here is that the federal government had decided to use the military during the election for the reason of this insurgency. So the federal government has already promised that they should end this Boko Haram issue in this 6 weeks. That's why they postponed the election. So honestly speaking is that I didn't see the reason whereby they can still use the military during the election. I didn't see the reason for that. Just leave all the election this thing under the police. They should handle everything.
Yeah.
That's only my, because if care is not taken, they're still going to do the same thing that they do in Ekiti State. That's why I'm very afraid of this military this thing during the election. That's my only suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamzat, for your thoughts.
Now,
go ahead, make your points.
Let me tell you. The signals we are seeing does not give us hope that if you apply this, if you apply the military, if you use them, that they will be fair to all. We saw it in Ekiti. We saw the desperation to reappoint Senator Banikoro as a minister, the junior minister in the defense ministry. We know what he has been doing. You know, at the time in that video recording, that tape, he said, look, if you make me happy by evening the next day, that you are going to be promoted. You know, I'm going to sit. I will sit in the council. I'll be one of the people that will sit in the council and you are going to be promoted. This is bizarre. And these people are not ashamed. You see, you have between now and May, you still want to promote a man that just lost an election to be a minister. For what? There's something. He's going back to be the minister of, defense, junior minister. And he's coming to Lagos to unleash terror. That's the report that we have. The military are now involved in politics, in elections. That's what we're seeing. We have seen our army almost destroyed. That they now run away from insurgents. Ragtag insurgents. Nigerian army used to be the best army in Africa. And President Jagade said, let me get there. It's my consistency. Let me get there and see what has gone wrong. Let me get there and see where the rain started beating us. The army that we're seeing today is no longer the same army that we used to know. It's no longer the same army that we used to know. Therefore, we may not trust them. in this election because of antecedent, because of what we have seen in the past few weeks. We will not be able to do that because we have seen we don't even know why these elections were postponed. We don't know why they shifted this election by 6 weeks. What do they want to do? What do they want to do?
All right, now let me.
You shifted an election based on. You said it was PVC. It was that one could not hold water. You said it's security. That you cannot hold. You cannot protect 14 local governments for you to hold an election. Do you know what the shifting of this election, has done to our economy?
Okay.
Do you know what it has done to our economy?
The APC. Let me come. I want to extend this first so you can make your points. The APC. All right, now before I ask you the question, let's take this call and then we'll come back to you. We have Timik from Benin Republic. Please make your point.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello, good morning.
All right, yeah, please go ahead. There's a little delay, so if you can see my hand, please go ahead and make your comment.
Hello, good morning.
It's quite far away. We can hear you. Please make your comment if you can hear us. If you can see us at least, you can see us. Well, the delay is quite much. I think we've lost the connection. It's outside Nigeria, so it's understandable. If you can call again, please do, so you can make your points on this topic we're discussing. Now, the chairman of INEC, Atahiru Jega, on the floor of the Senate, says that he cannot even assure Nigerians that elections will hold on the rescheduled dates. Now, it's left to the service chiefs of the country. Now, the APC came out to say that depending on letting the military decide if elections will hold is a coup to democracy. How can military people decide when elections will take place? Now, what is your view on this?
It is not a coup. But let me go back to what Amja said. I think Amja has said it well. Once it is clear, based on the advice, which goes back to what you are saying that the chairman alluded to.
Amja said military should not be used. That's what he said.
That's
what he said.
Let me make his point.
If it is clear enough that we can go have elections in all the parts where we have insurgency now, and there will not be any killing, there will not be any rioting. I mean, why must we use the military? The military should retire back to the barracks. But let's come back to the issue of Senator Musli Obanikoro. Now, the president has the prerogative to appoint at any time. So I don't know what is the concern of APC, but let me even
his
tell
role
you
in
that
Ekiti State has disqualified him. His role in Ekiti State has disqualified him.
Well, it's still purported. No, it has not been subjected to tests.
You know, when your name is being soiled, you need to leave the job and go and defend your name.
And again, you know,
he came out to deny that he's not in that.
Excuse me, please. On about 3 occasions, we played Mr. Ibukwe who spoke on issues that you did not play. I am repeating it. It is very unethical. You shouldn't allow him. You should always interject him, because if you don't play that again, you understand? Issues can come up that will get you. This medium messed up.
Let me make this to clarify.
Unless you play it.
You said you didn't listen to it. The duration of the audio tape is 37 minutes. And it's being in
the area you should play, please. No, but that's just your own assumption now. For so long, must I listen to it? Something that
I'm sure our producers are working. I'm sure our producers are working to get that portion.
3 issues, like saying that I will promote you. Now, before that,
because he's waiting on. Yes, we'll come back to you. Boniface, thanks for joining us on the program. Please go ahead. Boniface, are you still there?
I'm there.
Please, thank you for joining us on the show. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was have to commend you guys for doing a nice job here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so my own young observation, I don't think military should be used to conduct this. We have the police. The police should be deployed to make sure that the whole election goes on well. The military can be on alert so that if there's any breakdown of law and order that the police are not concerned, then they can now invite the military to come and make the something. Bringing in military in and around and terrorizing people, I think that will not be the best thing.
Thank you very much, Boniface. Thank you for your thoughts on the program. Go ahead.
Also talking about Senator Musilo Banikoro, I mean, who is actually paranoid over the swearing political credential of Senator Musilo Banikoro? It's not APC per se. It is the national leader of APC that resides in Lagos. Because the man knows what Senator Musilo Banikoro can do, having served with him as chief of staff for how many years. He knows him in and out, and he knows that he's the only one that can clip him. So he doesn't want him to have any swearing political profile, especially when, of course, one day, one time, another opportunity will come for the Southwest to also produce the president. You understand? So by nature, he is the leader who doesn't want anybody to rise. Now, he mentioned, please now, let me now.
Please now. He has been a local government chairman. He has been a senator. He has been a commissioner.
Does that make him
Yes.
So what are you talking about?
Is that not enough to intimidate?
Who is preventing him?
Does that make his point?
Wait now. Now,
on
the issue of postponement and what Professor Jega said, do you know that on the floor of the Senate, Professor Jega now came up and now said that it is even a blessing in disguise that the election has been postponed. I mean, people should have conscience. This man said he was more ready than the last election he conducted. I mean, this time, when as at that time we used just TV's just ordinary card, which nobody complained of not having. Now we have less than, as at the time he spoke, in Lagos, we have less than 40% collected because non-indigenous were deprived. You understand? And he said he was ready for the election better than how he was ready the last time. So now what we are saying is that Professor Jega postponed the election not because the PDP influenced or the federal government influenced INEC, but because he was conversant, he was properly advised by the lawyers in INEC as to the provisions of Section 26 of the Electoral Act that stipulates when and how you can postpone elections. In the case of Nigeria now, we have it. God forbid, we don't have natural disaster, but we have insurrection. We have assumption, strong assumption that must be very sufficient, you understand, to convince that yes, there's likely to be crisis. Now, if, like he's saying that we could have gone ahead, the law says, the Electoral Act says that even if it is one local government, if there is no election there, if the election must be postponed, you are not going to return any election. There will not be any result until that one local government is returned. Now, the under subsection 4 of that section 26 of the Electoral Act. No, please, sorry. I'll just hand up now. One second. He now says that even though you have the power to announce that result, if anybody goes to court, you are stopped.
All right, now, Stephen from Benin Republic, thank you for joining us on the show. Go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, the two gentlemen there. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, in the history of Nigeria, in the history of Nigeria, I have not had in the history of Nigeria where military were used in elections. But because of what is happening in Nigeria now, the system is so volatile that the government want to use military now. So we need military in the election to avoid what happened in the post-election of 2011. So that's my contribution.
Thank you, Stephen from Benin Republic, for your thoughts there. And now, what can you say basically now? The courts have spoken, the Federal High Court in Sokoto and the appeal courts in Abuja, saying that it will be illegal for the military to be deployed unless the president gets a recourse at the National Assembly for approval. That is only when it will be binding and becomes legal. If not, it will be illegal. What do you think?
We stand by the courts. Court of Appeal, one in Abuja in 2005, one last year, and I think Gombe is Gombe High Court. We stand by the courts. Let the army go to Sambisa. We need to rescue the remaining local governments. Let them go and fight. No there. But let them stand by. That's what the army does.
In those states and local governments or around?
No, let the army be in their barracks. Okay. If they're sending me, the army can be called in 10 minutes. Then they start. We know these things. Army can be called in 10 minutes to come and stop violence somewhere. But we don't want to see them on the streets. Let the police be equipped to do this job. Because of what we have seen. A general was involved in a mess in Ekiti State. That general has dented the armed forces. And we have not seen any sanctions. We have not seen any query. We have not seen anything. They cannot be trusted. We cannot trust the army in this election based on what we have seen. Based on the signs that we have seen. Based on the abuse we have seen within the system, in the armed forces. People now go civilians. A junior minister will go and commandeer an army.
Well, we have another caller.
To go and do an odd job somewhere. It's unacceptable. This is not the army of Nigeria we used to know.
Thank you.
This is not the army of Nigeria we used to know. This is not the army of Nigeria.
Friday from Abuja. Thanks for joining us on the breakfast. Make your point.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Mrs. Presenter.
Please go ahead and make your point.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and they can hear you as well.
I am begging my two gentlemen over there. You people, please, I am begging in the name of God. You people should not take this matter personal. Let's leave sentiment out of this issue right now. And we think about the future of our children. The future of the ones that have been born now and the unborn ones. My brother, the PDP representative over there, I can see the way you are reacting towards this matter. Please, and please, we have no other country but Nigeria. When we look back at what happened in Libya, people that are so close to the Libyans were trying to advise them then, but they never knew that this is how it's going to happen or this is how it's going to end. There's an adage in my place that says, you know the beginning of fight, but you don't know the end of it. The end might be disastrous. Even you that started the fight might be consumed in it. But I beg, please, in the name of God, I beg Mr. Goodluck Jonathan that there is nothing that is permanent on earth and nothing that is forever. Even him and his throne, there will be a time that everything will be wiped away according to the Bible. All is vanity. The only thing that will make us to be so greedy is money. The Bible says that money is the root of all evil. Believe me, all this that we are fighting over is just money and power. You are craving for power. You allow people to be massacred in somewhere else so that you will be that strong and rule and have the power. It's uncalled for, please. People should just calm down and just do it right. When we do it right, everybody will enjoy it. If the government that rules the people and has the people's mind, how do I put it, has the people, the pain of the people in him, you will see that even though he did not want to rule again, it is the people that say, no, we want you to still remain there. But in a situation like where you see people are crying, we don't want you, you see people are burning your posters, I think at least we should have that concept that what am I onto that people do not like me? You understand? Please and please, I am begging every Nigerian, the one at home and the diaspora, please let us calm our tempo down and do it right in a way that this country will still remain what God wants this country to be. We do not set this country ablaze, please. That is what I have to contribute for now.
Thank you, Friday from Abuja. Thank you for that point. Now, at the end of the day, Nigerians want free, fair, and credible elections that they can be proud of.
Very well, and that is the best legacy that President Goodluck Jonathan will leave behind. He has showed it enough. He has congratulated opposition parties when they won the PDP. He has given us the credible process now. Card reader, permanent voters card, and so many other things. He wants to do his best to make sure that also on that day nobody is killed, nobody is abducted, no kidnapping. But people are saying that no. And then Mr. Friday tried to be very diplomatic, very unbiased. But from all he said, I mean, you will know that he's sorry, I don't want to use anti-PDP, but a pro APC. Because if you are who you want to blame now, you want to blame somebody whose posters, vehicles, and aides are attacked because they don't like him. Instead of saying that people who are doing that should be condemned. Not only that it is also not compulsory that you must continue to rule. I mean, those innuendos are clear enough for we who are politicians.
He gave an advice that
it's not an advice. What he has only done is just to try to come indirectly.
So free, fair, credible elections, how feasible in Nigeria?
Free, fair, credible elections are what the president is interested in, and we want everybody to support. The opposition should know that if it is God will, they will also become. You understand? And nobody will criticize them for giving free, fair, credible election under any circumstance. You understand? Because what is important is that Nigeria will continue. But the situation where the opposition that you have in the country now is not constructive, is destructive, is highly militarized, and you see, I want to say it. We have to be very careful. We have to be very, very careful. This election, I mean, can make or mar this country. And if, for whatever reason, we do not allow all the agencies that are supposed to perform, we will hold ourselves responsible.
But under the purview of the law.
Very well. You understand? We will hold ourselves responsible. Because if today somebody is saying that the military must not be used, the police must be used, you understand? Where in actual fact you have situations where even the police have also compromised. It means that there is skeleton in the corps. Maybe the military has not been allowed, it has not allowed itself to be compromised. That is why they are comfortable with these other people.
This call now. Ibrahim, thank you for joining us on the breakfast. Make your point.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to also make a contribution. Particularly, I've been touched by what the last speaker has said Friday. We Nigerians, this is our country. We don't have any other Nigeria but this. And that the way things are going on, these politicians are trying to set the country ablaze. Election is not a do or die affair. And that we must not do anything that would destroy our country. We are alive, our children are coming, the current children, the present children that are here. We want the country to go on. And like he said, he is talking about the people that burn the posters, destroy the posters. They have a reason for that. It is that reason that the politicians should address. It's not that they must not do it. But the reason, something instigated somebody to do something because he is very unhappy with that. Every one of us know that across the country, particularly in the Northeast, so many people have died and no action was taken all this time. Now some people want only 6 weeks to deal with the situation. So they could deal with the situation.
All right,
thank you. Why did they wait up to this time?
Thank you, Ibrahim. I have to stop you there because of time. Last line now, 30 seconds. Your last line.
You see, election is supposed to be fun. Fun in the sense that it's supposed to be, just like sports. But unfortunately, we have played into the hands of hoodlums, and they have seized the center stage. Look, if we are fair, people will know. Some people have threatened this country from the president's side, from where he comes from, people from South.
All right, you have to
threatening fire and brimstone, and they have not been arrested.
Thank you very much.
They have not been arrested.
Yes, 30 seconds over.
To end Boko Haram so that we can have free, fair election, I mean, we need the support of the other African neighboring countries, so that these people who come perpetrate the act and run back out of Nigeria, you understand, are completely exterminated. This is the time. They have just given us the cooperation, and if they have just given us the cooperation, even I'm sure that we are going to end Boko Haram before the 6 weeks ultimatum.
Thank you for your time. The Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State, Barrister Taofik Gani, and the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, Mr. Joe Igbokwe, for your thoughts on whether the Nigerian government should use the military at the polls come March the 28th and April the 11th.